Hello everyone, welcome to Ponderings of the Priest. What I'd like to ponder today are the ways we reach for God or the ways we don't reach for God. Because Lent can be a time for us of deliberate intention in seeking to reach for God, seeking the ways that we can reach for God, and examining the ways that we do and don't reach for God. One of the things that prevents us from reaching from God are the idols that we make. And there's so many different idols that we make, our idolatry of our own intellects, of our own abilities, of our material world, of relationships, of events in our life, our possessions, our worries, our fears. And interestingly enough, and these two segue with each other. One of the things we do with our idolatry is our lack of forgiveness of other people and our resentments that we carry, and just a lifetime of bitterness and perhaps even some victimization. And so these are all things that get in the way of a relationship with God, prevent us from reaching for God, and reaching for each other. And so we can look at ways that we can reach for God. And it begins with a recognition, really, if we think about it, of Jesus' prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane. Father, if it be your will, take this cup from me, but not my will, but yours be done. And in that prayer, Jesus acknowledges his absolute unconditional need of God, that of himself, by himself, even the Son of God is helpless and frightened and deeply, deeply grieving. And it is in reaching for God and recognizing our need and our helplessness, and then asking for help, because remember, God is always in the paradox. It's when I surrender to my ego and when I surrender to all of my idols and I ask for help that the help comes. So I have to surrender to win. I have to let go of all of my agendas, and I have to seek God's will first and foremost. And that's what Jesus says, not my will, but yours be done. And so when we reach for God, we surrender. We surrender our egos. We surrender basically everything. And there's this wonderful, wonderful thought. There is no thing, there is no self, there is only God. And when we can let go of any things and we can let go of ourselves, we can center and ground and anchor ourselves in God, who then will give us guidance in the ways that we should go. And we'll talk about that. We'll ponder that a little bit next week, of the last week of Lent, of what do we do when we let go, and then where do we go instead of where our idols take us and where our egos take us. But the first thing we need to look at is, how am I reaching for God? Am I reaching for God? And if I am, is it in a complete state of unconditional surrender? Of God, help me to see what I need to see. God, help me to do what I need to do. It's a scary place to go. And it's a difficult thing to let go of our control needs and our needs to do that. But the end result is really quite remarkable. So I will leave that for us to ponder for the week. Reaching for God. Where do you find yourself in that process? Have a wonderful week, everyone.